Hello, welcome to my proposal for organizational change to a local nonprofit hospital in the surrounding greater Seattle area. My objectives will cover communication processes and improvements across the organization, employee satisfaction and morale, as well as everyday workflow processes impeded by group identification conflict. My solution to these issues will follow a combination of adaptive and innovative change models exercised through Lewin's three-stage change model of unfreezing, changing, and refreezing. I chose the approach of adaptive and innovative change instead of radically innovative change because the means of less complexity, cost, and uncertainty for this organization in particular will yield the best gradual change in the right direction. Through small incremental adjustments that managers can make to adapt to the daily, weekly, and eventually annual business challenges will involve reimplementation of small changes over time. These small changes are seen as non-threatening to employees and will leave room for employee input and flexibility. Let's begin with an overview of the organization as a whole. This public hospital is one of the oldest and largest public hospitals in South King County, with more than 2 dozen standing primary care, urgent care, and specialty care clinics. It is composed of over 50 specialty subclinics and prides itself as being one of the only remaining Level 3 trauma centers in the area. Communication processes and improvements. To stay abreast in communication amongst the clinics, this organization tries to create consistency and symmetry by allowing inter-department communication via Epic and Volt services. These communication services allow personal health information to be sent securely through encrypted chat messaging systems that can transfer information from the patient's entire medical chart. It can be accessed by all team members and, if utilized correctly, provides seamless relay of information. The issues arise when not all departments rely or utilize this system, which in this case is the case in this organization. Certain departments will chart using a record and verify system that is not compatible with Epic, and therefore pertinent information gets lost in translation. Our organizational structure is divisional because we have specialties that do not collaborate with others. To combat this issue, I propose we follow Lewin's three-stage change model to create more symmetry of communication within the organization. To start, we must unfreeze our current practice. Leadership should conduct meetings that will express the desire for change and how it will keep up with the demands and needs of our patients and community. They can present facts and about cost and waste of time used to toggle between multiple operating systems to find information. By presenting it in a way that will save employees time and effort while still providing optimal patient satisfaction, team members will be more motivated to adopt the change. The actual changing will be to collaborate with IT departments to see if they can connect other operating systems with Epic. Epic is the most common form of charting across the organization, and only a few subclinics use different operating systems. This could prevent employees from having to double chart. Leadership can also encourage employees to fully transition to using only recording in Epic. Regarding the unfreezing stage of this model, leadership will need to provide training on how to efficiently use the new system, provide open communication between employees and leadership so any struggles can be addressed. Leadership will have a responsibility to motivate employees with positive reinforcement. Remind them of the reason for change towards a common goal, and can even go as far as rewarding departments who achieve 100% compliance. Employee satisfaction and morale. Since the beginning of the pandemic, there has been a decrease in employee morale. The pandemic brought in a lot of safety concerns as well as restrictions to patient care. Many specialty and elective procedures were canceled due to safety measures mandated by the CDC and the governor of the state. Without specialty procedures, referrals became obsolete, and this caused many clinics to either be shut down or forced employees to seek furlough. Those that continued to serve the community operated with limited staff. One department that I can speak to personally was radiation oncology. Patients were not being referred to radiation as quickly as they have been pre-pandemic. There was a backlog of patients waiting to be biopsied, or scan, which delayed treatment start dates. During the beginning of the pandemic, patient volumes dwindled, and many staff members were on low census or furlough, which left existing employees to take on more job responsibilities to keep the clinic operating. Patient service representatives were now in charge of rooming patients and coordinating transportation, which used to be the responsibility of the nurse and social worker. Therapy staff took on the roles of environmental services as well as transportation. The added workload caused unnecessary stress to employees who were not compensated well. The organization still had a strict no overtime policy, so employees staggered shift daily to accommodate the clinic's schedule. The organization was operating under vertical leadership, which meant less autonomy for departments. The organization followed a hybrid of both functional and divisional grouping. The upside of this grouping ensured all staff members were working towards the same goal of patient care. The downside of this was that because of the centralized decision-making, everything had to be cleared before moving forward. With the drastic change in staff, employees needed to adapt to the environment, but were left with little support because upper management was not able to relay information in a timely manner. Currently, there is little room for employee feedback, which causes tension between employees and leadership. The lack of buy-in from employees results in frustration and exhaustion from employees. Employees who do not feel recognized or valued are less likely to adapt to change and support the organization's decision-making, which ultimately can affect the attitude towards the organization and patient care. To mitigate this downside, I propose employee satisfaction surveys that allow employees to be as candid about their work experience as possible. Suggestions should be allowed, and leadership should put a conscious effort to incorporate those suggestions in the daily operations of the organization. Consensus decision-making can be a great tool for creating an inclusive culture amongst the organization. Consensus decision-making takes into account the input from all members of the team and can be easily managed through employee surveys and open forums. It is important for employees to feel valued. The strength of the organization is dependent on the collaboration and relationships of employees. It is also critical to make known that change is a dynamic process that takes planning, effort, and action and will not happen overnight. With employee understanding, we can make small adaptive changes that will benefit the organization in the long haul. We also believe it would be beneficial for upper management members to visit individual departments to view operations firsthand and see how the departments have changed with the pandemic. While they are there, they can offer praise, recognition, encouragement, and leave the floor open for discussion and collaboration. This brings me to workflow processes. Workflow processes impeded by group identification conflict. The organization pilots a vertical leadership communication model with all departments having an established hierarchy. Each department creates their own corporate culture. Integration is lacking because some departments have strong ties with others, but not every department is related. This can cause confusion with workflow processes for patients and inter-department workflow. I would like to see this organization move towards a more horizontal linkage, which is designed for collaboration. It is known that horizontal linkage is usually weaker in high specialized and formalized organizations, which can lead to more problematic group dynamics, but we need to start with collaboration towards common goals. Having stronger integration can overcome barriers between departments and allow employees to feel relevant to important conversations related to workflow processes. The current model of vertical linkage provides little autonomy for employees. And because department employees need to follow a hierarchy, there is delay in scheduling and patient care if employees cannot follow the chain of command. A specific example of impeded workflow would be as follows. The infusion department will schedule a patient out for the next 2 to 3 months of appointments without taking a look at what other appointments a patient may have on campus. When there is conflict, it becomes expected that other departments shuffle their schedules to accommodate the already made appointment in infusion. This creates tension between the departments. The patient also becomes frustrated with the lack of organization and continuity. Forming an adaptive culture would be the best chance of creating smooth transition amongst departments. Because of group identification conflict, employees are unfamiliar with the roles of other employees. To minimize this conflict, I suggest department managers shadow other departments related to their specialty clinic to understand how the work flows there. Seeing how one department operates can be a quick solution to what is blocking the flow of communication. For example, if radiation oncology sees that although a patient is scheduled for a 60-minute appointment for chemotherapy, but did not previously know that that time did not include 25 minutes of workup and labs before and after the administration of chemotherapy, radiation therapists could adjust their schedule to accommodate for that time. Another suggestion would be to hold monthly meetings to discuss quality improvement processes as a whole and find ways each department can contribute to the overall mission of the organization. Leaders will be able to go back to their individual departments with a collective mindset from upper management stockholders and address the changes based on the external environment, such as patient and community demands. As mentioned earlier, in explaining the reasoning of change, employees will have a better understanding and willingness to change to the internal environment. This will leverage the strengths of the team to get the desired patient satisfaction and financial results. Until a better solution is agreed upon, team-based rewards can be used for incentives to reinforce adopting the change behavior. Thank you.